Yes. Welcome back. Once again, it's Coffee Break with JN. Motown Philly back again. What a little coffee break swing. Coffee break with JN. And my caffeines, you know who you are, caffeines, going off. Not too hard, pause, not too soft. Well, hello, guys. Hello. Welcome back to this fine, fuzzy program. I am Jamar Nicholas, your friendly neighborhood Grand Poobah. Good to see you. I see a lot of people up in the chat. Yeah, James, tell them what's up. Um, there's a lot of conversation betwixt the people in the chat, but I'm going to break through the veil and talk to you directly. Let's say, what's up? There's a whole lot of superstars up here. I see Michael Esavato. Hello, Michael. Good to see you, bro. I got some mail going out to you. I see Ronaldo. What up? I see Notorious JRD. Hello, Notorious JRD. I see who else is in here? I see James. What up, James? Because everybody's crazy about a sharp dressed man. Yes, hello. Well, hello. Yo, I see Adam Reed Punk Taco. Well, hello. What up? I see the futuristic intergalactic planetary intergalactic Tim Fielder. Hello, Tim Fielder. What up, dude? Good to see you. I see D Parson, go read Rosebuds. D starts it off strong. D says, hello, Jamar. Guess what? What? Rosebuds is on USA Today. What? You made the USA Today? That's the color joint. Yo, we got to start off early, you guys. As I told you, a whole lot of superstars hang out in the JN Jamar Nicholas Network. And one of those fine feathered friends is none other than D Parson, the whip smart creator and cartoonist of Rosebud in your local newspaper. Cop it, why don't you? Guys, get your pinkies up because we're doing the first sip of the night for D Parson and that fantastic news. Wow, that's great. That's great. That's great, D. Glad to hear it. And, how cool is that? That, in the year of Al Gore's Internet 2025, that there's still people getting syndicated comic strip deals. So, bucket hat tip to you, D Parson. You're doing the Lord's work, and that was, I can say, and I don't know how you feel about this. I'm sure you hear it all the time, but you say it yourself. You're living the dream. I'd like to think at this point, you guys, for a lot of us, or even if it's not you, you're in close proximity to somebody, or you might be an accomplice of somebody that's living their dreams. You might be helping them along the way. So, how cool is it that you can say, oh man, you're living a dream, or oh man, I'm living my dream, I'm living my best life? And we could all do better, but you gotta, that's worthy of a sipper. So good on you, D Parson. Look at Charity showing some love. So, all right, first things first. A voyeur into their dreams. Pause. Yo, pause. Yo, I'm looking into your dreams. Dreamweaver, Johnny Weaver. I was about to go into some deep pro wrestling stuff. So this is going to be quick. I'll make this fast. So the legendary, iconic, he may be on some people's pro wrestling Mount Rushmore, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, who, when he was in a feud with the now heel Barry Windham, who joined the Four Horsemen, it's probably one of the best rotating seat of Four Horsemen, the Barry Windham era, who is now, living it up and I guess he's rich because he's wearing a black leather jacket that had a leather glove. So he was doing the Iron Claw. That was his finish. He was always kind of tall and lanky, and I don't think the claw worked for him. But anyway, he's doing that. It's feud with Dusty to combat the Iron Claw. Dusty had to go and learn a new move. It's just like a wait a minute, Ronaldo. That's the whole point, bro. Oh, he had to go like a video game. He had to go get a new move. He had to do some JP grinding and unlock the new move. He went and studied under the master Johnny Weaver, who was the master of the Weaver Lock, aka the sleeper hold. And he brought Johnny Weaver to ringside with him to make sure he didn't mess up. So yeah. Yes, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, is one of the sons of American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and also Dustin Runnels, aka Gold Dust, aka the natural Dustin Rhodes, is also his oldest son. So, and Cody's been around for a minute. Good on Cody. So speaking of living your dream, Tim Fielder says, I live 2 blocks from Museum Mile in Central Park in NYC and get paid to draw comic book with black people in space. Talk about making it. Yes, sir, Tim Fielder. You tell him. D says nice things about me. Jamar, I'm always honored by your greatness and support of the new guys. It means the world to me. Thank you, no thank you. Because there is no us if there's not more you, right? I kind of don't understand why that's so hard for a lot of people to deal with. I'll tell you from my early forays into this business, and if you watched Pencil to Pencil last night, we had Shop Talk. And talking about Shop Talk, we talked a lot about New York Comic Con and what a modern comic convention tabling experience is like. And we showed this really great YouTube footage of somebody who just filmed Artist Alley, and they're just kind of walking through the aisles, just filming people doing their thing. It was very eye-opening, just in a way that you've never been to Comic-Con. You might be like, oh, awesome Comic-Con, but everybody at Comic-Con is there for a different reason. So one would think the law of averages would say, if there's, I'm just making it up, but some of you stat nerds might know. Say New York Comic Con has 30,000 attendees. One would think if everybody gave me $1, I'd have 30,000. It does not work like that at all. So you should, that's a whole other thing. But oh shit, what was I telling you guys about that? I don't remember why I started talking about that. No idea why I was talking about that. I guess it was important. But yeah, all right, I'm going to flip that because I totally don't know why I said anything about that. But I was not at New York Comic Con, you guys. I was in Pennsylvania, in Oaks, Pennsylvania, at the Kids Game Con Live convention with my Kids Love Comics crew. You know who those people are. And we had a grand old time. And like I said last night, there were people who were like, JN, you're not a New York Comic Con? No. Not that I have anything against Comic Con, but was not there. Was very excited to see Scholastic had Leon prominently in view at the Scholastic monolith on the show floor, which is fantastic. I think that also made people think that I was there. I was not there, but I was in my home state at a show that was marketed exclusively to kids and their families, and I had a great time. And I left with like a half a box of things to take home with me, which is great. So I know that. Hold on, some people came in. Duke, I made it. I'm gonna be okay. Hey, Duke, what up? Good to see you, bro. Yo, the P and Dubs just showed up. Dakota, I expect nothing less from the Baroness of the Pacific Northwest. And it may be October, but it's always July when Julian's in the building. Yo, what up, July? Yo, July, you're gonna love this. Ronaldo, I'm putting you on blast. Our good friend Ronaldo just realized that the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, called himself that because Dusty was the American Dream. Well, I'm glad you connected those dots. Let's see. Oh, Kaylee, hello. I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you? I think I saw you last night. Good to see you. Welcome back to the JNN Jamar Nicholas Network. Hello, fellow youths. Oh wow, we got a hat trick. I call Shogun. Yo, the entire P and Dub is in the building. I love it. 5X claps. Yo, that might be my next sticker for the P and Dubs. 5X claps. I love it. I love it. Don't you love the love? You can't get that anywhere else but here on Coffee Break with JN. Um so also let's just talk about it. Right now, some of you guys are in Baltimore at Baltimore Comic Con. You guys have a fantastic time. As a lot of you guys know, I am not at Baltimore Comic Con, and I don't know if I'll be back to Baltimore Comic Con for some time. I'm not getting into it. It's not for anyone's public consumption. But just know that for all my friends that are going there, tip of the bucket hat for you, and have a great time. Have a great time. But also, you guys will know that over the years I've been saying, and I was Ronaldo. Who's that for? Is that for me? You might be talking to the P and Dubs. Nobody sends me anything. Is So Shogun, we're in the middle end of Comic Con season, and Baltimore is like a big component piece of that. Um, yes, you have to. I just picked that up in the chat. And I didn't know who was talking to who. Also, Duke, let me know if you guys got all your stuff. And also, I have a Jamar crate. If the vibe is right, I may do another one of those the raffle things that we did before. Remember where Duke won, and Duke, I have to get your Jamar crate together. Yes, Comic Con season is very exhausting. I said even on the Patreon that um, it is a grind. Miss you too, Adam. Um, and especially if you think about, and I said this on my morning constitutional on my Patreon. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, look at the doobly doo. I think it's time for you to join. D Parson, it's time for you to join my Patreon. Um, that yeah, get that good. I get that new. Is that I think I've been tired for for a minute. Not only should we just recognize my undiagnosed ADHD, which is also why I'm drinking coffee at 9 o'clock at night. Thank you, Shogun. I appreciate you. Adam will tell you right here. I'm a lot less stressed since I cut down on Comic Cons. I miss my people, but the rest of it, eh. I will say, going back to the beginning theme of tonight's broadcast, is living your dream, right? If you get nothing from being a part of all of this podcasting I do and books that I make and all of the kind of stuff is that I want to be Ronaldo just made me laugh. Some sort of inspiration for people out there. I've said on record a million times, I don't want to be one of those people that go, if I could do it, you could do it. Because I don't know what you could do or what you're doing at this moment. I know what I do and what I have to do. And I try to just keep a really open window into how my world works. Sometimes I get defensive, and because a lot of us know, Tim knows this, a bunch of us know this, a bunch of us people who are in the business know that you have to be your own advocate a lot, a lot, a lot. And Shogun, I see that. I'm going to put a star in that, so I'll answer it. Just let me finish this thought because this goes back into why I'm acting like this. You have to be your own advocate. You have to put your feet on the floor every morning and just make shit happen when probably the world does not care what you do at all, right? So just think about the amount of torque it takes to make a name for yourself in this business, right? I think people like to talk about people who got hooked up or somebody put me on or whatever. None of that is actually true. Well, networking is super important, but I also believe that the other 95% of that is you got to do the work. So I'll kind of say this like this. When I first got into comics business, and I even talked about this last night, my first show was a Small Press Expo in 1998. And I had happy Pooh energy. You guys who watch It Ain't Hard to Tell, Mike and Hawthorne and I talk about this a lot. I was a very excited puppy because I got here, you guys. Talk about the dream. This is something I wanted when I was a kid. And now I'm kind of there, and I have a comic book with my name on it, and I can sign it. And somebody goes, oh, wow, this is dope. Where's the next one? I'm in, you guys. That's fantastic. And then I started to want to, like, now with my people, my fraternity, I want to know everybody and how's this and blah, blah, blah. And, wanted to think that you had these kind of like really clean kindred spirits that you could share this business with. I spent the end of my 20s realizing that I was spending a lot of time getting to know all these people, collecting. Well, I didn't even have this back then. Collecting I have totes full of business cards going back to 97 to now. And then, as this goes on, and you still know people, and then I kind of apply some of that now when I go, oh yeah, so and so, and they're like, how do you know that? Sometimes I get defensive because when I've kind of like arrived at wherever I'm at, sorry about my signal, might be low, might be a little chopped. It kind of gets me, it gets my hackles up when I feel like somebody's not respecting my grind. I'll say this, if I drop dead tonight, nobody will ever say I was lazy. Nobody will ever say that I didn't hustle as hard as I could to kind of get my stuff out into the world. So when you line up a million cartoonists, I don't know if you're going to point at me and go, oh, wow, he was my favorite cartoonist. Probably not. You probably like, oh, I love Jim Lee. Great. Love Jim Lee all you want. But I know that I did really dope work. I was the first person to do a lot of shit that a lot of other people did second and third. And you create doors where there's no doors. That's what I did. I catch arrows all the time. I show people pictures of like, yo, I was up in Boston at this Cartoon Society thing. People are like, yo, there ain't no more brothers there. Not even like, yo, JM, how did this even happen? Like, you just go do your thing. You make your doors. So sometimes I get defensive when I'm like, yo, look at all the stuff around me. We just saw a video of 500,000 people in Artist Alley. You know what? I'm not going to be at Artist Alley. I'm going to go over here. What? So it's like, res- res- you gotta have to kind of respect that there are people that kind of have an idea of what they want to do, and it usually bucks trends. You have to go a different way sometimes. So anyway, to that, that I've been doing coffee break with JN for what, 6 years? JRD. I mean, proofs in the pudding, you guys. So sorry for that rant. I don't even know if that went anywhere. So Shogun says, "How are you supposed to wind down for bed without a cup of coffee?" Yes. See, I misread that. I thought you were going to be one of those people that shows up every 5 months and goes, "It's 9 o'clock. How are you drinking coffee?" Well, as you know, for people who are neurodivergent, stimulants actually do the reverse. So this is how I chill from 93 till. Yeah, the keeper of the scrolls, JRD, just said February 2019. That's ridiculous. So hold on, I'm going to try to read some of these comments. And StreamYard has this new thing where they put all these little ads and shit all over my desktop. I can't see the comments. Yeah, Nakota, tell him. So, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was also getting a key to the city. And I'm glad you brought that up, JRD. And I'm almost at a place where I'm not talking about it anymore. I even had that was my uh, profile on my Facebook and my Instagram for a minute, and I just changed it. But it's like I also know at this point in time in my age is that there are people that aren't going to get you. There are people that are going to think, "Oh, this dude's clown shoes." Okay, or you're not living up to some ideal of what they think somebody like you should be. Okay. I've taken plenty of arrows for that in my life. You know, I'm very, very comfortable with who I am. So, I can walk into a room doing my thing and be comfortable at ease. What did American Dream Dusty Rhodes say? That he is, I always mess this one up. Where's July at? That he's eaten meals with kings and queens and slept at alleys and ate pork and beans. He's a man of the people. I'm a man of the people. I'm as comfortable talking to the president of your organization and the guy who has to clean up afterwards and change the trash can liners. We're all the same. But I know, and I was talking to somebody at the Kids Con, and this also may be a Philly thing, who was just kind of like, yo, man, I'm out here doing my thing. I don't get no love in my city. I'm like, welcome to Philadelphia. That's what being a Philadelphian's about. Adam says, you are loved by the people who count. The rest, who are they even? Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you. What up, Ray? Black Horseman. Good to see you, brother. Might be worth looking into, my man. Duke says pre-pandemic. A lot of people started podcasting during the pandemic. Nothing but imitate. Yo, even with that, yo, real rap. Because I started doing this stuff right when Facebook introduced going live. And I was like, yo, I could like broadcast on this for real. And everybody, I don't know, everybody else, and a lot of people were like, you seeing them like bounce around on camera, like while they're walking through the Apple store. Yo, I'm up in the Apple store. Like, think about what we can do with this technology. But yes, so I wasn't even like on some of that. I was just like, how can I use these resources to build some community? So, and I even said this on Pencil to Pencil the other day. I was like, yo, don't forget, we got y'all through the pandemic. When we were doing pencil to pencil, it was Mike, Brett, and myself. We were doing 3-hour runs twice a week during the pandemic, Wednesday and Saturday. At some point, I was like, I can't, I can't. We got to put a governor on this thing. I'm going insane. We cut that back. We took Saturday off the table. That's why we do Wednesdays at 8 p.m. EST. That was what was left. And I got a lot of really great, you know, heartfelt messages from people like, "Yo, man, I need this. This is helping me cope, and I thank you for that." And it helped me cope in different ways. But that's how I was putting my stuff out into the world. Nobody's talking about drawing written teeth and cross hatches across somebody's forehead. That's the modern cartoonist to me. You got to get out there any way you can. Yep, tell them all the way live. So I'm sorry, you guys. I kind of went on a bender there. Um, right, but that's just kind of like, you know. Oh, so anyway, about the key thing. So like, that happened, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm going to find a spot up here on my shelf for the key, and then we move on, right? And I talked about you didn't miss too much. um, JRD, thank you to kind of take this off of me for a second. JRD says, I've worked harder in the past 11 years since being laid off, becoming a self published creator than I worked in any of my other jobs, legal, food, all of it. Yes. Yes, it's very true. And I don't know for some reason why people think I'm chilling. Like nobody's chilling. Nobody's chilling. I also, as the world gets greasier, I'm trying to spend more time just like breathing and going, hey, how cool is it that I got to wake up and walk my dog? That sounds real corny, but it's real, right? If it's all go, 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 get, what did Nas say on the EPMD joint? It used to be go get it, now it's gimme. You gotta find some balance. And originally I was saying all this, but the con stuff is that everybody's exhausted. The world is pressing its thumb on everybody, and everybody's just tired. So I understand the need to enact self care. Give yourself a break. Now I know that's hard. Pause. Ray says some nice things. Dude, you're a luminary. Thank you, Ray Anthony Height. Who gives a rat's rip what anyone says or doesn't say? Your hustle, your fans, your sales, and your ride or dies reflect your greatness. Thank you. I appreciate that. And, I've also said over time that I try my best to not talk about imposter syndrome. I don't feel like I have that because I just, at the end of the day, you're just working a lot. And I don't know how you could be an imposter when you're just like trying to bang this stuff out for like 19 hours a day, 17 hours a day. What are you an imposter of at this point? You know what I'm saying? So I don't really try to say things like that. I am really interested in, and some of you guys might enjoy this. I found this book, and as soon as I found the book, I lost it and can't remember who wrote it. This book was called The 16th Hour. And The 16th Hour was written by some like kind of like famous dude who like might have been like a musician or an actor or something, who kind of had his moment. And now he's still up here, but you don't hear about him. Like he kind of like not like Byron Allen, the billionaire black dude for real people, who people like, who? Like, yeah, that dude who owns everything, but you never hear about him, that Byron Allen. I think he's a fascinating subject. This book was about if you recall Andy Warhol's famous quote that everybody at some point will have 15 minutes of fame, which is super true in our modern timeline. But this book was about like, what do you do with the rest of it, right? Because we talk about people who are shooting stars. Say there's somebody really young, their first project out of the gate becomes a cajillion bestseller, and then they like fall off, right? What happens? Did Icarus fly too high to the sun? What exactly is happening when people get it too fast, right? That's why I really respect people who hustle and just keep climbing up the hill for decades, and then when they finally get to a plateau, they can go and look down, and then you go, all right, I got to keep going. And that's like one of the secrets is that there's no top that just keeps going, right? And what do we say? It's like it's amazing when you get to open a door, but guess what's behind that door? Another door. Duke says the only people chilling are billionaires making money off the backs of real workers. Yo, real rap. Jared D it says, I no longer have imposter syndrome. I just harbor petty jealousies. That's great. That's funny. um, Ronaldo, do I have to add that to my outros? The key master. Sigourney Weaver is around. Maybe we, all right, I'll leave that alone. Adam, I was thinking about Harper Lee. Adam says Harper Lee wrote one book her whole career. She didn't even try to follow up To Kill a Mockingbird. It fed her for life. For life. I'm fascinated that she wasn't consumed with the next book. I think, and I've seen a lot of this, and just even being, who knows what Harper Lee has lived with in her head all these years, right? Because that's kind of like, and this is kind of funny when you talk about, and that's what I love about Pencil to Pencil when we bring these people on. I love to study everybody's trajectory, and everybody always has like a jump off the cliff moment, some sort of catalyst, almost like superhero origins, like when you get zapped with the ray, Anthony Height, or you fall into the vat, the chemicals, or something happens where everything changes. And everybody loves those stories, but also we don't really understand when somebody seems like they have it all. How many times have we seen the story play out, you guys? I don't know why this dude would like want to hurt himself. He's got everything. He's got a gorgeous wife. He's got a mountain of money. What could even be his problem? That's the problem. I think, there's a lot of us that just feel like, oh, well, once you get to this, everything is cool. But then what Biggie said it. Biggie said it. More money, more problems. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about money. It could be about the pressure of making the next thing. The sophomore slump. Well, you did it this time, you got to do it again. It might be safer to not do it, right? There's a lot going on, and I would love to just kind of like see how that 16th hour plays out in a lot of people's lives, because I think a lot of people probably aren't as happy as you would expect them to be, right? Also, your wagons they start to circle tighter. There's you think about, like, you always see that, I've talked about this before, that there's always somebody with curlers in their hair going, if I run into Denzel at the Walgreens, he gonna be mine. You're not marrying Denzel, right? But there's this thing and that makes sense why actors are in relationships with other actors, or singers always go out with other entertainers. They understand the world that they live in, right? And like the money, I'm probably sure doesn't have much to do with it. Is that I understand the language you speak because I do it too, right? Um, you know, But generally, it seems funny, like with artists and creatives of that scope, you usually don't wind up with another creative partner. It might be a little different, or maybe you're the weirdo, and then your wife is like, I don't know, a marine biologist or something. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like in a bunch of other facets of the world that you kind of pair up with somebody that understands your language. I'm running my mouth tonight, you guys. Yeah, so Jared D says, I think it was her kid or agent who pushed her to write the sequel to Mockingbird. She had no interest, right? Or maybe like you did the thing. Okay, well, I don't need to do any more things, but you have to do another thing. But you enjoyed the thing I did. That's why I understand how, and I can't speak for them, and I know a lot of us know a couple of the turtle guys. I know some turtle guys. Shout out to Northampton, Massachusetts. Think if you think about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you think about these guys made a comic, it was kind of a goof, whatever. Everybody was trying to make something happen. They made something happen. It exploded into the biggest thing in the world. Are you like cool, man, or at year number 26, you're like, if I have to look at another goddamn turtle, and that sounds like that's ridiculous. You made the biggest thing. Everybody knows who the Ninja Turtles are, but what if you're like, yeah, I need a break. I don't think we have a lot of compassion for thinking about what people who seem to have made it go through. And I ain't talking about myself. I'm still struggling like everybody else. But you see what I'm saying. Let's see what else is here. Nakota says, I know I've wanted to just write one meal ticket and then use that to just let me live my life as out of the spotlight as possible. Yeah, like even with actors, and you'll go, yo, what happened to so and so? Oh, well, they made the money and now they're just like being a mom, or just like, you know, they bought a little cabin somewhere and they're just chilling. But when's the next one? That's our problem, right? That's our problem. We can't seem to let people just do what works for them, because we need to consume the next thing. I don't know if that makes sense. Ah, yeah, yes, that's huge. Tim says, well, never having a published mainstream book till my early 50s, I gotta say I will never retire. So if the money comes, I'll know how to hold on to it. You'll word up. What a good show, you guys. Ronaldo says, my wife is truly my better half. She's the one that keeps me from saying or doing something stupid most of the time. Adam says, yeah, Jared D, that was a rough draft to kill a mockingbird. They released it after she died. She didn't want it out. See? Well, it sounded like Harper Lee didn't want it. What's up, Paul Pate? I don't think I said hello to you tonight. Paul Pate, what up, Paul Pate? Shogun says, if I hit it big and I needed a break, I bet it would be trivial to let whoever's making the cartoon or whatever to do their thing for a few seasons. I say, have never had a cartoon made. Well, that says something about fandom, right? Because the thing with fandom is, and that's why I love having my boy Brian Lee O'Malley on Pencil to Pencil, because he is, I don't know, maybe right now the closest pop culture phenomenon to the Ninja Turtles. I mean, it doesn't sound like the same in scope, but think about it. He's got video games, he's got a movie with the hoi polloi of Hollywood at this point. We're all a bunch of like unknowns back then. Is it safe to say that Scott Pilgrim versus the World popped a bunch of these people? It has a Netflix anime. He's got a new video game. He's got toys, and he's just like the chillest guy, and he's so accessible. And you know, I, I really enjoy Brian, and I'm glad that he answers my texts. Like, when you think about people who don't need to be nice, you would kind of think, oh well, Mal, of course, is just like too busy, or he's got his assistant. He's just like, yo, man, what's up? Chilling. I love that. That's also why I love my relationship with Michael Ringo. Ringo was the nicest person, and all of the fame. I don't know where the Ringos are tonight, but all that fame and stuff. It was like it's like what? No, man, let's go get tacos. And if I have anything that centered me or balanced me, is having relationships like that and watching these people who, for no reason, are like just super down to earth and worldly and giving and caring and teaching. And I feel like we all should try to be more like that. All right, I'm like talking myself into a tizzy. Jared D says, I had a friend who knew Harper Lee well, and Lee didn't want to be in the spotlight, and she had told the story she wanted to tell. She was pressured into the sequel. Yeah, that's wild. Nakota says, there's a part of me that's amused by the concept of just writing a bunch of one offs under different pen names. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you just need to get it out of you, right? That makes a lot of sense. Shogun, I was thinking about George R. R. Martin. I mean, look at GRRM. I know he says he's working on the last novel. What is he? I mean, I don't know anything about the cat, but I feel like he had been writing these giant tomes for so long, and he has his fans. But that TV show popped that whole thing huge, and maybe he was like, you know what, man? And I think the outside makes people think, oh, well, he got paid, didn't he? Money isn't the sole motivator for everything in the world. I know it's kind of hard to say looking at the way our world's running these days, but it's like maybe he was like, shit, man, I don't know. Like the pressure, right? Like JRD says, the depression, the pressure, the what if can be so loud, it probably freezes a lot of people out. It's not easy, man. Or like, what, it's time for me to go sit in this room and be creative. It's crippling. Paul Pate says, I'm so glad none of my three books have hit it big. I would hate to be ruined by such a development. See, and I know Paul likes to stick his thumb in my eye when we're doing coffee break, but this is kind of what I'm talking about. It sounds like everything I'm saying sounds like, oh, must be nice, JN type of stuff. And I'm trying to give some balance here. And I know, Paul, you're just playing around, but I want to give some balance here that whatever the thing you do is, there's another level to do more of a thing, and then there's another thing. So you just can't stop. That's really all it is. And just keep everything in perspective. Uh, Dakota says, I had a short story kind of take off, and a bunch of people reach out to me, and I was like, oh, hell, I don't want this. Just give me the money and go away, please. It doesn't work like that, boo boo. You gotta kind of take all of that. Ronaldo says, there's something to be said for making big money on one project and retiring to be a hermit in the woods, creating and doing whatever you want away from the eyes of the world. I mean, but again, success could be an addiction like any drug. I mean, that's like a big pro wrestling thing, right? Without whatever you guys think pro wrestlers do, cocaine. I don't know why everybody thinks everybody does cocaine back in the 80s, but you think about you're in a business where it's all about your character and being at the top of the card, the top of the mountain, the biggest draw. The guy with the belt gets more money than everybody else, all those things. And then at some point, it's not your turn anymore. So then you turn into a backstage politician trying to game the system to keep yourself on top. Right. To where, I mean, this is kind of like Hulk Hogan's whole story, and a lot of, I'm a big wrestling guy, and you talk about kind of like the ins and outs of pro wrestling. And it's just like, it's very human nature to figure out how you don't want to go backwards. You need to stay up here. And as age catches up to you and the new young hot thing catches up to you and all those other things, you get real paranoid, right? And it's just like, well, shit, I got to do something. I got to reinvent myself. I got to turn heel. I got to do something to keep myself relevant. And that's a lot of entertainment, like Madonna is probably like the first person we think about who reinvented herself like every couple of years. Like, oh shit, Madonna's back. She got a whole new look and she shaved her hair. Oh, let's check her album out. That's a whole thing. Paul Pace says most punk rock thing George R. R. Martin could do is not write anything else. That's very true. Oh, you guys are funny. Shogun says, as a guy posting a story for free online, seeing that number, that means pretty much nothing going up is super nice. Duke says, I wish I could make enough money to be comfortable and then have enough left over to help other people through a foundation or whatever, even if it means I got to be, yeah. Oh, yeah, Adam, tell them about the music business. It's just as bad with MCs. At one point, so many dope MCs were the man. Sometimes they last one, two, three albums, then you were thrown in the trash. It's horrible. These days, more older artists are coming back, but there were years when the thought of a 40, 56-year-old rapper was crazy. Yo, it's real. Uh, I'm glad we're sharing, you guys. What a chill episode. Tim says dealing daily with elderly parents who are experiencing health issues from having retired years ago tells me that I won't retire. I feel if I'm doing something artistic that keeps me sharp and I'm doing my exercises, I'll be good. I've been noticing that there's something real about moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. And if you have people in your life who like you've got old timers in your life who have the same routine, like they keep farmer hours, like they get up at 5 o'clock and do the little push-ups and then they're out buzzing around in the garden and then they take a nap and then they have breakfast and they got it right, man. I think once you stop moving, that's when everything starts to shut down. Adam says that most of these hip hop artists were teenagers when they hit and then in their 20s and done. Yo, Adam, I talk about that stuff all the time. Like, I was just watching an old Jazzy Jeff Fresh Prince video. I think it was Brand New Funk. Those kids, Will Smith must have been 17, if that. Those kids started so young. Like one of my favorite stories is Kwame the Boy Genius. Shout out to my boy Kwame, who, if I remember the story right, he had enough. I think he gathered enough money from his jobs or his after school jobs or whatever to book studio time. And he goes to the studio and they're like, how much money you got? And he kind of like empties his backpack on the table and they were like, this will be enough. We can get you in here Christmas Eve and you got 7 hours. And he went in there and cut a whole album and walked out of there with Kwame the Boy Genius. I think he was 16, right? Come on. What a great story. Dakota says, I'm like 99% certain my main issue is I've been talked twice and one of them tried to kill me a handful of times. Stalked, I'm sorry. I think that S talked. So yeah, I don't want that. No, I don't want that for you either. I knew what you meant. I thought that was like an internet thing. Yo, did you just bust out rawhide? Pause. Paul Pate says, best thing I did for myself is become a fan of other creators. Got over jealousy. Please don't ever be jealous. Don't be jealous. I'm not even saying this to you, Paul. Don't ever be jealous of other people, you guys. That's a road to ruin. It really is. You have no idea what people are going through. And it might seem real seductive, but it's like, I'll tell you, I've told you guys this in different ways. Even when I've been talking to people about coming on my show, pause. And I'm like, yo, come on my show. Wait, what is it live? Yeah. Uh I don't know if I could do like, dude, you're fucking famous. What do you mean you can't do it? Everybody's got like an EQ thing, like baseball card stats on the back of their baseball card. And you might be up this, you might be the best drawer of all time, but you can't change a car tire. You might be the most amazing drafts person, but you don't like, you know what I mean? Don't be jealous of other people. Now I can do my books for the love of it, no matter the results. I just want to get better. Yes, that's strong. Strong like bull. What up, Mizzle Kisses? What up, Mark Manley? Good to see you, brother. Be nice, Ronaldo. Adam says, I performed my first live show on stage last night in over 20 years. That's to prove my bravest to the show. How'd it go? That's true. He had some people looking out for him, Adam. I gotta cop it. Um, I'm a big Kwame fan, and I've been lucky that he kind of talks to me once in a while. Yeah, yeah, those kids were in high school, like deep high school. But this is, and I've told you guys this before, and I'm going to wrap this up. Part of my lore at this point is a lot of you guys know I went to high school of creative performing arts here in Philly. And I went to school with Boys and Men. And I went to school with the Roots. And I went to school with like classical trained pianists and dancers and people you've seen on TV acting. I was in school with those dudes or ladies. Now I say they were in school with me because if you look at the thing, there's my name next to the rest of them, next to Questlove, right? And none of that surprises me, especially if you're at that age and you're being like not pushed. If you have that kind of focus and there's almost kind of like, I don't know, I'm trying to put it to words. You have this kind of drive to do something that's so strong, you're going to do it that early. I think the world's a lot different now. I mean, yeah, anyway, the world's a lot different now. But I wasn't surprised when the people I went to school with were like, yo, we just met Michael Bivins at this talent show and he's given us a contract. Oh, word? That's amazing. Yo, go to Tower Records and buy our new album. Go to HMV and cop the new album. Oh wow, that's fantastic. Because you were like, I don't know. I think it's also the air we were breathing, but it's just like I don't know if people have it set up like that. I think YouTube has changed the way people think about that kind of stuff. All right, I'm all over the place. Yeah, don't be jealous. Oh, Nakota, the best thing we can do as creators is lift each other up. Yes. Sorry, it's like I'm trying to scroll with this thing. Adam said it went well. Awesome. You tell him, dude, don't be jealous. Make shit happen. My New Year's resolution was I was going to make stuff happen. Now we own an antique furniture store and made our whole weekend a day to day. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I love it. I love the P and Dubs. Yo, Bros, what up, Bros? Bros says Beastie Boys for 15 and 16 were almost done after Paul's Boutique flopped at release. Yeah, I mean the Beastie Boys were doing stuff before they were the Beastie Boys. They're children. Mm, that's real. Guys, what did we get out of today's episode? I don't know. I like to talk about the iceberg. I like to talk about the iceberg. Berg, berg, berg. The berg is a word. Yes, the life of an artist. Let's examine this. Up here, it's the work you see. Down there is the work And what we talked about tonight is just that. That's why I love talking about the iceberg. It's so telling of what it takes for any of us to get anywhere doing anything. That's why, I try my best to just say, give yourself a break. I know all this stuff is hard. Pause. I know just having a plan is sometimes really complicated to put together because there's so many things in front of you. Um, uh, for a long time, one of my favorite books, and Hawthorne and I used to share this, is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, not The Art of War, Sun Tzu, The War of Art. And about all these things that get in front of you, we'll call it resistance. I've talked about this before. Resistance can be a well meaning but interfering spouse. You really, I mean, what time is it even? Like, just come to bed. Like, it can wait. Do it tomorrow. Nobody even, like, why are you wasting your time? Like, add all those things. Probably somewhere in there, her heart's in the right place. But what is the fire in your belly telling you? Right? And I said it at the beginning, there's nobody waiting for your shit. You got to make them want it. You got to sit down and just make something out of nothing and push it down everybody's throat so hard that they need it. I'm even putting a pause in there. You see where I'm going with this. It is on you to make your career happen. Nobody else. If you're dragging your feet, like we just said, Duke's like, I'm making a stand. I'm taking a stand. This year, I'm going to do this. Next month, I'm going to do that. I even told my work study students when I worked at the colleges I worked at, even while I'm sitting here telling you guys what to do and being the administrator of this facility, Ronaldo, professionally, what have you done this month? What? What do you mean? I'm a student. But you're an artist, right? What are you doing? Did you do any commissions? Did you learn how to do something you don't know how to do? Did you go to a workshop? Did you do anything? If you do one thing a month, by the end of that year, you've done 12 things. Why don't you? What if you do something every week? That's 52 things. You make a life out of that, but you gotta do something. You gotta put your feet on the floor. Sorry, you guys, I got it in my bag. Oh, Paul Pate, what a that's a that's a that's a great get. Good on you, man. Shout out to spouses and significant others, man. Like if you got a good one, yo, take care of them. Tim Fielder says, what you are doing is contemporary broadcasting. I love Tim Fielder. He always puts a word to it. You are literally a media personality in the spirit of Bob Ross. Oh, I got to sip out of my Marine Boy mug on that one. Shout out to the P1 Bolton and Piper in the command center with my man Marine Boy. Hmm. Now it's not one artist, it's millions. I love it, Tim Fielder. Speaking of the iceberg, so true, and we got to wrap this up. The general public only sees the finished product, and sometimes not even that. You'll wore it up. Speaking of the iceberg, Nakota says, since it looks like a pyramid, crazy haired people are going to say all the work was done by aliens. Yeah. Tim says, copy pasting from earlier. I think I missed that, Tim. Live streaming has literally changed my life. The fact that I do my actual work live for everyone to see it creates a space of accountability. I've gotten so much work done and it's building audience. Pencil to Pencil was the inspiration. A plus, A plus. I love it. Tell him, Ray. All right, what's up? Wrapping this up. Uh, Owen loves his mama. All right. Ray says, do what you do and leave the rest of fate. Make the thing, promote the thing, and your people will find you. Yes. And you can't ever give up. You can't. I remember when this is kind of like this would be a good place to stop. Um, when I was putting together Leon Protector of the Playground, which seems like a million years ago, um, and my buddies at Kids Love Comics, my man John Gallagher, my man Rich Faber, we put together this Kickstarter as our early Kickstarter, and they did their parts. I did not do my part. I spent years waffling around with Leon and trying to figure out what exactly was the story I was even trying to tell. And they were like, "Yo, what are you guys? What are you doing?" To the point where the Kickstarter was super late. I mean, they turned their stuff in. I didn't turn my stuff in. So one year, I was like, you know what? I got to get in front of this. And I hunkered down and I kind of just, everything started landing. It started falling into place. And there were people in the, man, for any of you guys who do Kickstarters and you get that one grumpy Gus who just wants to like piss in your cornflakes through the whole campaign, everybody has at least one of those dudes. These people are like, oh my God, why, these charlatans are wasting my money. They're never even going to do the thing. And through all of that, I was just like, oh, well, it's going to happen. Like, never in my mind did I think it wasn't going to happen. Never. Like, that was never like, oh, I just gave up and I'm not going to do the book. We're going to do the book. You're just going to have to wait. I don't even think I said you have to trust me. Like, you just have to wait. I'll give you the updates. I'll give you little videos. I have to do videos back then. It's going to happen. And then when it happened, it happened. Everybody got this stuff. Everybody was like, wow, this is great. Yes. It just took a while. And now look at where we are, right? That's fantastic. Right. But you just can't give up. You really can't. It's so important to just keep going, even when nobody believes you. All right, you guys, I think that's it for me. Tell them, JRD. Guys, this was fantastic. This isn't where I thought the show was going to go tonight, but I can't do this without you. Thank you so much. Let's say goodnight, John Boy. I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope this gave you something to think about. And for all of my con heads, wash your hands, fist bumps, no handshakes. Put that sanitizer on, and be good to each other. That's all I want from you. Never give up. Never surrender. Tell him good night, John Boy. JRD gotta get his shit on. That's a very wrestling term. Get your shit in. Say goodnight, John Boy. Thank you, Paul Pate. All right, let's get out of here. What happened here tonight? You got to hang out with your boy JN on Coffee Break with JN. You got to see Philadelphia's favorite son hang out with his caffeines. You know who you are, caffeines, friends and regulars, not decaf, of Coffee Break with JN. And we chopped it up into a fine dice with almost like a mandolin, like very thin slices. We chopped it up. And now we come to the end of our programming day. I would be remiss if I got out of here and did not give you a bunch of nicknames. Where's Ronaldo? Some of my favorites include Philly Seymour Hoffman. Johnny Five, how do you feel? I feel alive. Thank you, dude. I love Johnny Five. John Cena, the administrator of this facility. Oh, Dakota always reminds me of this one. That's right. The Master Chief, John 117. I like that one. That's a really good one. John. Ooh, Francis Scott Key to the city. That's right. The Keymaster up in here. And as always, the captain of this ship, Jean-Luc Picard. Oh, that's great. Pope Sean Paul. There are 4 Johns. What happened here tonight? You got to hang out with me, watch me drink a cup of coffee, and run my mouth. Now that I'm out of coffee, somebody wake up Hicks. See you in 2 weeks. Be safe out there, you guys. See you next time. That's great, Ray.